From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OU baseball update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Ryan Aber. Ryan, NCAA pairings announced on Monday, a Memorial Day announcement, and Sooners are in, as expected, a 3 seed. But before we talk about regional play, we got to talk about injuries because that became a big storyline coming out of the Big 12 tournament. Where do things stand at this point?
Well, right now, Levi Prater, the freshman pitcher who's been so good in both the starting role and the relief role for the Sooners, came on in relief in a couple of games in the Big 12 tournament before injuring his shoulder. He's back to throwing, so it looks like he's going to be good to go. The question is, how many innings can he pitch? Will he be able to start one of the games if he's able to? It doesn't look like it. Good thing for the Sooners, they got pretty good performances, starting performances from Kyle Tyler, Devin Perez, guys who have started before but weren't in the weekend rotation at the end of the season. So they're going to have to lean on those guys. But the bigger question offensively is whether Steele Walker and Kyler Murray will be back in the lineup. Talked to Steele Walker yesterday for the first time since he got injured. That happened is an oblique injury that happened against Kansas. Skip Johnson sort of throughout the Big 12 tournament made it sort of sound like a precautionary thing, maybe, but Steele Walker said it's going to be a game time decision basically whether he's ready to go. It's just one of those things that you can play through a lot of injuries, but an oblique in baseball is almost impossible to play through because every movement you do as a baseball player centers around your core, and it's a painful injury to swing, to try to catch a ball in the outfield, to run, pretty much everything. So we'll see if he's available. Kyler Murray was moving around a lot better yesterday. Still not sure about his status. Skip Johnson also said he was day-to-day, but it seems like there has been some improvement after he injured his hamstring stealing a base against Texas in the Big 12 tournament.
And obviously Kyler Murray's injury sets off alarm bells for a lot more than just Sooner baseball fans. Yeah. Sooner football fans obviously paying attention to that one too. We'll see how that goes. Sooners a 3 seed heading to Florida State, to Tallahassee, to that regional. They'll open on Friday at 11 against the 2 seed, Mississippi State. Then you got Florida State and Samford as the other teams in that regional. Let's talk about Mississippi State in that opener first. Obviously, Mississippi State, a proud baseball tradition, SEC team. What's the challenge out there for the Sooners in that opener?
Well, I think the big challenge is getting past Mississippi State's pitching, especially if their offense is limited at all with either Walker or Murray down with an injury. Mississippi State has a really good pitching staff, led by a guy who Jake Irvin and Steele Walker are very familiar with. They he roomed together with Jake Irvin at Team USA. Steele Walker knows him well, so that'll be a really intriguing first-round matchup. Pitching-wise, it seems like they're both going to go head-to-head against each other. But Mississippi State has been really tough against good teams this year. Their record was built against the top of the SEC. They struggled against the lesser teams, so you wonder if maybe it's better to get into the bullpen and throw those guys who aren't the overpowering arms. Generally that's the case when you see records like this. And Mississippi State's had a really weird year with their coach getting fired just a couple games into the season. They're under an interim. TCU coach Jim Schlossnagle has been mentioned as a candidate there, so that'll be something to follow after the season. But an intriguing first-round matchup for the Sooners.
How does this regional stack up in your mind, Ryan? I mean, anytime you're a 3 seed, you're not expected to be the best team there. But what does this look like for the Sooners' chances? I mean, obviously you want to win the first one, but give us a wider view of this regional.
Well, they go against Florida State, who's got the winningest coach all time in NCAA history, past Augie Garrido this year. He's built a fantastic program down there. Mike Miller, just an unbelievable job that he's done in sustaining that. But Florida State is really good from top to bottom. They've got a catcher that's just phenomenal that is expected to be a first couple of round pick in the MLB draft here coming up in a couple weeks. But it's all about pitching when you get to this stage and your pitching depth. And the Sooners, if Prater is able to go for any distance in relief, they feel pretty good about the pitching depth that they built up as you go with the job that Nathan Wiles has done as the season gone on. Jake Irvin has been really on top of his game all year. Devin Perez has been dominant at times, struggled throughout April, but had a solid performance in the Big 12 tournament. I mentioned Kyle Tyler. So they've got some guys who can eat some innings. They really need a guy like Ryan Madden to step up. But with Connor Berry, with some of the other guys that they're throwing out in the bullpen, they should be okay if they can get a level of offense going that's really going to take Walker and/or Murray being available, because their offense looks a whole lot weaker without those two guys in the middle of it.
All right, well, they got until Friday at 11 to get themselves as healthy as possible. We'll be following that, and then winning or losing determines their game time on Saturday, but you have the losers bracket game at 11 on Saturday, the winners bracket game at 4 on Saturday. So we'll continue to have coverage of the Sooners as they head into NCAA regional play. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.